The quiet departure of the great hall of the Galactic Council was louder than usual. Alien leaders from every corner of the galaxy sat in a huge circle, talking, shouting, and arguing. There were bright lights, many screens, and the air was full of tension. In the middle of this noise, one thing went unnoticed. The seats for the humans were empty. No one really noticed at first. The humans were often late. Some thought maybe they were busy or tired, or maybe ignoring the latest argument about trade or territory. But then a young alien, a small blue creature named Trow, looked at the empty seats and felt something was wrong. "Where are the humans?" Trow asked, his voice quiet but nervous. No one answered at first. Some shrugged, some laughed. "Humans always think they are special," an older alien said, waving his hand. "Maybe they're just bored." Others agreed. In the past, many aliens felt humans acted as if they were the center of everything. But Trow could not relax. He walked through the giant corridors of the council building. Usually he would see humans talking, drinking their strange coffee, or smiling with that odd confidence they always had. But today, the human areas were dark and silent. Their rooms were empty. No guards, no staff, not even the smell of human food. By the afternoon, the rumors started to spread. A message arrived from a far-off spaceport. All human ships were gone. Not one ship remained in the docking bays. Another message came from a trading station. The human traders had packed their things and left quietly in the night. Every human embassy was empty. Every human world silent. No messages were left behind. No warnings. No goodbyes. The council called an emergency meeting. The hall was full of confusion and fear. One leader said, "Maybe this is a trick. Humans love surprises." Another said, "Maybe they are angry. Did we insult them?" Others were happy. They had never liked the humans and were glad to see them gone. But deep inside, many felt uneasy. Humans had always been everywhere. They helped settle arguments. They made deals between species. They fixed things no one else could fix. When there was a disaster, human ships always arrived first. When pirates attacked, human patrols fought back. When there was silence, it was often broken by human laughter or human music. Now, there was only quiet as the sun set on the council world. Trow walked outside. The city felt different. The lights seemed dimmer, the streets less busy. In the parks, the humans were gone. Even the small human cafe was closed, its windows dark, the smell of coffee gone. In the night, strange things began to happen. Systems started failing in the council building. The translation machines, always managed by human technicians, began to malfunction. The cleaning robots, built with human help, stopped working. In the medical wing, a sick child missed the human doctor, who always brought special medicine. Leaders argued. Some called for search parties. Some wanted to send messages to every corner of space. Others said it was not their problem. But everyone felt something was missing. It was more than just the people. It was a feeling, a kind of warmth, a strange energy that humans always brought. A wise old alien named Vanish sat in his office, looking out at the stars. He remembered the first day humans joined the council. He remembered their laughter, their wild ideas, their stubborn hope. Now the stars seemed colder. Why did they leave? Varish whispered. No one had the answer. As night deepened, silence filled the great city. It was a heavy silence, one that pressed on everyone's heart. Some wondered if the humans had left because of something the council did. Others wondered if something terrible was about to happen. Trow sat by the empty human seats in the council hall, feeling small and afraid. He thought about all the times humans helped him, or made him laugh, or taught him something new. He wondered if they would ever come back. But for now, the only thing left was the silence, And in that silence, the council began to understand. Sometimes, you don't know what you have until it's gone. Asterisk the empty spaces. The next morning, the council building was strangely quiet. Everyone noticed the empty human seats now. The news was spreading fast across the galaxy. Humans were gone, not just from the council, but from everywhere. Trowel walked through the wide halls with his head down. Other aliens whispered in groups, nervous and scared. Trowel heard words like vanished, mysterious, and maybe it's war. But no one really knew why the humans left, or where they had gone. All that remained was an empty space, cold and lonely. The council called another emergency meeting. Usually, these meetings were loud and filled with arguments. Today, even the loudest voices were softer. One leader, an orange-skinned Creole, said, "Maybe the humans are hiding. Maybe they will come back if we send a message." Another, a tall Xarian, shook his head. "No, they left on purpose. We must move on." They tried to act normal. The council kept making decisions, but nothing felt right. Without humans, the debates were slower. Agreements were harder to make. Small arguments became bigger. The human translators, always fast and friendly, were gone. Now, misunderstandings happened every hour. In the days that followed, the galaxy itself began to feel different. On distant planets, supply ships stopped arriving on time. Human trade captains had always been brave, flying through dangerous space to bring medicine, food, and tools to those who needed them most. Without those ships, smaller worlds grew desperate. Children waited for medicine that never came. Farmers looked up at the sky and saw only empty stars. Pirates, who had once been afraid of human patrols, now attacked ships more boldly. On the outer rim, a peaceful colony was raided in daylight. The message was clear. The galaxy was a little more dangerous now. At a famous marketplace on the planet Valius, a shopkeeper named Nara stood by her empty shelves. She used to sell human art, human music, and strange snacks with names like chocolate and peanut butter. Now, customers came in, asked for these things, and left disappointed. Nara missed the laughter of human children, who would always stop to listen to her stories. All across the galaxy, small moments reminded everyone of the humans. There were no more human teachers in the alien schools, sharing stories about Earth and its strange blue oceans. No more human doctors working late at the hospital. No more human engineers fixing the old machines no one else understood. In the spaceports, starships from other species were delayed. Humans had always managed the busiest landing pads, helping pilots from every world understand each other's rules. Without them, chaos started. 2 freighters crashed after a misunderstanding, something that never happened when the humans were there. Back at the council, leaders received hundreds of complaints each day. Planets wanted answers. Some blamed the council for making the humans leave. Some blamed the humans for leaving. A few began to wonder if this was a punishment. Did the galaxy do something wrong? Varish, the wise old alien, spent his days reading messages and watching news from across the stars. He saw patterns no one else noticed. He saw small conflicts turning into big ones. He saw hope fading, little by little. Trowel, still thinking about the humans, tried to find clues in their old offices. He found empty desks, cold coffee cups, and scribbled notes, reminders that once life was full here. On one desk, he found a child's drawing. It showed a human and an alien holding hands under a bright sun. Trowel felt a sudden sadness. One evening, as Trowel walked home, he heard music coming from a dark alley. It was an old human song, played softly on a tiny speaker someone had left behind. Trowel stopped and listened, his eyes filling with tears. The music made him remember the way humans danced, even when no one else understood the rhythm. In those days, The whole galaxy began to feel like that alley full of empty spaces, filled only with echoes of what used to be. Some aliens tried to fill the gaps. They organized festivals, started new projects, even tried to tell human jokes. But it wasn't the same. Something important was missing. The laughter was quieter, the lights a little dimmer. On a lonely night, Varish stood outside, watching the stars. "We thought we could live without them," he whispered to the sky. We were wrong. He wasn't the only one who felt this. Everywhere, from the richest planet to the poorest outpost, people began to realize that humans had given the galaxy more than anyone understood. Now, all that was left was the empty space where humans used to be, and the cold, growing question of what would happen next. Asterisk. The rising chaos, the days turned into weeks, and the feeling of emptiness only grew across the galaxy. What started as confusion was now turning into real fear. With humans gone, the thin balance they helped create began to break apart. News of trouble and danger reached the council every hour. Tral, the young blue alien, was working late one night in the council archives. He saw a long list of problems from every world. A mining colony without enough food. A border station attacked by pirates. 2 planets arguing over water rights. Before, humans would rush to help. Now, every crisis felt bigger, and solutions seemed farther away. Inside the council chamber, arguments turned uglier. Leaders shouted and blamed each other, without human voices to calm the room or make clever compromises. Meetings often ended in anger. Some council members suggested using warships to control the chaos, but others warned that would only make things worse. Varish, the old wise alien, watched the debates with a heavy heart. He remembered how humans always found ways to bring enemies to the same table. Now, the table itself felt empty and cold. He wondered if the council could survive without them. Out in the galaxy, the chaos was growing. On the farming world of Lenther, crops began to fail. The special machines humans had designed needed maintenance, but no one knew how to repair them. Food shortages spread, and hungry families protested in the streets. In deep space, pirates and smugglers became bold. A human patrol ship once protected the shipping lanes, but now those stars belonged to the lawless. Merchant ships started traveling in groups, hoping to avoid attacks. Still, every day, new messages arrived. "We need help. Where are the humans?" On a distant planet, a young alien child fell sick. Her parents went to the hospital, but the human doctor who knew her rare disease was gone. The local doctors tried their best, but it wasn't enough. The child's parents sat in silence, praying for a miracle that did not come. Even on the entertainment networks, things were different. Popular human shows were replaced by old programs. The jokes weren't as funny, the music not as bright. Some people even stopped watching altogether. The middle of all this, a strange signal was discovered by an alien scientist named Polrek. He spent his life studying radio waves from distant space. One night, he found a message buried in the noise short, almost hidden. It seemed to be human, but the words were strange. "Do you understand what is missing?" Polrek brought the message to the council, but most leaders were too busy arguing to listen. Tral, however, was curious. He worked with Polrek, searching for more signals, more clues. Late at night, as the rest of the city slept, they listened for the voice of humanity across the stars. Some council members grew desperate. A group led by the proud Xerian leader, Zenth, wanted to send ships to Earth. "We will bring humans back by force, if we must," he said. Others thought this was madness. "If they left by choice, we must respect it," replied Varish. Meanwhile, rumors started to spread. Stories told of a secret human fleet watching from the dark edges of the galaxy. Others whispered that the humans were testing the council, waiting to see what would happen without them. Every day, the stories grew more wild and strange. On the ground, ordinary aliens suffered most. Markets were emptier, streets more dangerous, and hope was fading. In many places, people started to ask questions out loud. Were we wrong about humans? Did we push them too far? Can we survive without them? In a small, forgotten corner of the council building, Trow sat with the strange signal playing softly. He thought about all the small things the humans had done, little kindnesses, clever ideas, brave rescues. He wondered if anyone would ever understand just how much had been lost. As another night fell over the council world, more emergency messages flashed across the screens. Fires on one planet, riots on another. Trow closed his eyes and listened to the silence between the signals. It was a silence that grew heavier every day. And somewhere out there, in the darkness beyond the stars, the humans were watching. Or maybe they were gone forever. But one thing was certain. The galaxy was falling into chaos, and the only ones who could fix it were already gone. Asterisk secrets revealed. The galaxy was slipping deeper into chaos. Every day, the council faced new emergencies. As hope faded, fear took its place. Some leaders blamed each other. Some blamed the humans, and some simply tried to keep their own world safe. But not everyone in the council was ready to give up. One night, Trow walked alone through the quiet, shadowy halls of the council building. He carried a small datapad, his mind full of questions about the humans. He had spent days searching their old offices, reading old messages and reports. Tonight, he returned to the human delegation's private chamber, a place where few aliens ever went. The door slid open with a soft hiss. Inside, the room felt different than any other part of the council. The walls were covered with photos of alien worlds, art from different species, and old maps of the stars. On one wall hung a hand-drawn sign, Unity Above All. Trow turned. On the lights, the room was quiet, full of memories. He found a dusty old computer sitting on a desk, half hidden under piles of human notes. Curious, Trow pressed a button. The screen flickered and came to life. As he scrolled through the files, he noticed one was marked, "For the Council, if we ever leave." He hesitated. Then he opened it. A video started to play. On the screen was a human woman in a dark suit, her face serious, her eyes tired but kind. She spoke in perfect galactic standard. "If you're watching this, it means humanity has left the Council. Maybe you're angry, maybe you're confused. But you need to know the truth about what we did here and why." The woman's voice was calm and gentle as she explained how humans had always worked quietly behind the scenes. They stopped wars before they started, helped rivals become friends, and gave new ideas to old problems. She listed times when humans had invented technology to help sick children or sent food to starving colonies, or built peace between species that once hated each other. "We never wanted to be the center of attention," the human said. "We just wanted to help. But over time, some among you began to resent us. Some forgot how much we gave. Some thought they could do better without us." The video ended with a simple message. You must decide if you want a galaxy united or a galaxy divided. The choice is yours now. Trow watched the screen in silence. He felt the weight of the words, and a sadness he couldn't explain. He knew he had to show this message to the Council. At the next emergency meeting, Trow asked for permission to speak. The other delegates looked at him, surprised. Trow's hands shook as he played the video for all to see. The room went silent. As the human woman's voice echoed through the hall. As the message ended, the Council was stunned. For a long time, no one spoke. Then Vanish stood up, his voice shaking. "We have been blind," he said. "We thought humans were trying to control us, but they were holding us together." Some council members argued. "We don't need them," shouted the Xarian leader Zenth. "We can fix our own problems." Others, like the merchant leader Nara, shook their heads. "We've tried. The galaxy is falling apart." Meanwhile, on many worlds, citizens heard the message and shared their own memories of human kindness. Stories spread: a human captain rescuing a stranded alien ship, a human teacher comforting a scared child, a human scientist staying up all night to save a dying planet. Old rivalries began to fade. For the first time since the humans left, the council started to listen to each other, sharing stories, ideas, and worries. The mood was still dark, but now there was a glimmer of hope. In secret, some council members sent messages into deep space, hoping to reach the humans. They begged them to return, promising things would be different. But no reply ever came. Trall found himself looking up at the stars, night after night, wondering where the humans had gone. Did they leave because of the council's mistakes? Were they watching from far away, waiting to see what happened next? Or were they truly gone forever? On the edge of the galaxy, strange new signals began to appear, short, cryptic, impossible to understand. Some believed the humans were testing the council, watching to see if they could learn, change, and grow stronger without help. One thing was clear: the secrets were now revealed, and the galaxy would never be the same. Desperate search. The council had never been so divided or so desperate. After Trall revealed the human message, some leaders felt shame for how they'd treated the humans. Others grew defensive, their pride wounded by the truth. But one thing was clear to all: the galaxy was slipping from their control, and no one knew how to stop it. Vanish, the wise old alien, met with Trall in the dim council gardens. They spoke softly, sharing fears. "We can't go on like this," Vanish said, his voice tired. "Without humans, our worlds are coming apart." Trall nodded, remembering the calm and hope that humans always brought, even in the darkest moments. Across the galaxy, panic was growing. On a planet called Olis, angry crowds marched through the streets, demanding help. Their water machines, designed and built by humans, were failing, and crops were dying. On another world, a civil war began over food supplies, something that had not happened in years. Pirates now controlled whole sectors, their ships painted with mocking images of humans with their backs turned. The council sent out message after message, broadcasting pleas to every star. "Humans, please, if you hear us, come back. We need you. We're sorry." Their words went unanswered. Some council members believed the humans were hiding, testing the galaxy. Others whispered that maybe the humans were truly gone, lost to their own secret worlds, or worse, wiped out by something only they had seen coming. Trall, restless and unable to sleep, decided to search for more clues. He spent hours in the human embassy, searching for any hint of where they might have gone. There were logs of ship movements, lists of allies, even children's drawings, but nothing that pointed to a new home, or a secret base, or a hidden plan. Every file ended the same way. Last update, departed. Vanish gathered a small team of trusted council members, the few who still believed in unity. They proposed a dangerous plan: send exploration ships beyond the known worlds, following the last recorded paths of human fleets. "We will go ourselves," Varish announced. "If there is any hope, it is out there in the dark." The search missions began. Small crews left the council world in fast ships, carrying hope and fear. In equal measure, each ship was given a simple order: find the humans, beg them to return, do whatever it takes. The journeys were hard. Some ships vanished into the void, never returning. Others came back empty-handed, reporting only silence and cold. On one mission, a crew found a drifting human beacon on the edge of the galaxy. It was old, powered by a dying battery. The message it played was simple: take care of each other. That is what matters. The council replayed the message again and again, hoping for a hidden code, a map, a clue. But there was nothing more. Just a human voice, gentle and kind, asking them to be better. News of the failed missions spread quickly. People on every world began to lose hope. Some said the humans would never return, no matter how much the council begged. Others believed the humans were waiting for the galaxy to learn its lesson, that unity was the true power, not force or pride. Varish found himself awake at night, haunted by memories. He remembered a day long ago when humans helped his world after a terrible plague. He remembered the laughter, the songs, the small kindnesses that no one else gave. Now that kindness seemed as far away as the stars. Trall, too, felt the weight of regret. He visited the empty human quarters, sitting in silence, listening for footsteps that never came. One day, he found a notebook, hidden under a loose floor panel. It was filled with human writing notes about alien cultures, sketches of strange animals, poems about stars and hope. On the last page, a simple message: leave things better than you found them. He shared the notebook with Varish and the others. The word spread through the council and across the galaxy. Some found comfort. Others wept, desperate. Some worlds tried to imitate the humans. They started peace missions, shared resources, and helped neighbors in need. At first, many efforts failed. Old suspicions and anger were hard to overcome. But in some places, small sparks of hope appeared. An old enemy delivered food to a rival's starving city. A group of children from different worlds rebuilt a playground, painting the words "unity above all" in bright colors. Still, most waited and watched the skies, hoping for the return of the humans. Every passing day felt colder, every night a little darker, and somewhere in the endless void, a human ship watched in silence, waiting for a sign that the galaxy was finally ready to change. Asterisk, the consequences days faded into weeks, and then months. The empty seats in the council chamber now gathered dust, a silent reminder of what was lost. No new messages came from the humans. The galaxy moved forward, but nothing felt the same. The great machine of galactic society, once powered by countless voices and ideas, now groaned under the weight of mistrust and fear. In the wealthy city of Astrion, tall buildings shimmered in the morning light, but the air was thick with worry. The markets, once bustling with life, stood nearly empty. Merchants argued over simple things, blaming each other for missing supplies. Human traders had always been the bridge, helping every species understand each other. Now, misunderstandings were common, and anger grew quickly. On the farming world of Lenther, crops died in the fields. Human-designed machines sat broken in the dirt, too complicated for anyone else to fix. Hunger grew. Riots spread like wildfire. A mother stood in the empty square, crying for help, but only silence answered. Pirate attacks increased everywhere. Without human patrols, space became wild. A young alien captain named Kern tried to defend his convoy, but was outnumbered. He remembered watching human officers at work, always calm, always brave, always quick to help. Now, Kern barely escaped with his life, and his people lost almost everything. On the council world, the chamber echoed with shouting and fear. Old alliances crumbled. Some delegates talked of breaking away, forming new coalitions. Others threatened war if their worlds were not protected. The council's attempts to calm the galaxy only made things worse. Varish, the wise old alien, watched it all from his quiet office. He read message after message, requests for food, calls for peace, angry threats. He felt old and tired. Was this what humans saw coming? Did they leave to teach the galaxy a lesson, Or was it just the final result of years of being unappreciated? In the shadows, Shral kept searching for hope. He spent his nights listening to deep space signals, hoping for a sign. One evening, his receiver crackled to life, a faint transmission from a distant world. It was a story, told by a child. Once, the humans lived here. They helped us plant trees and taught us to sing. When I grow up, I will do the same for others, even if they are different. Shral smiled through his sadness. Even in loss, the humans had left seeds of kindness. He shared the message with Vanish, who wept for the first time in many years. Stories like this began to spread. On a small mining planet, workers put aside old rivalries to repair a water system. In a city filled with hunger, a group of young aliens started a kitchen, sharing what little food they had. They called it the human way. For every story of chaos, there was a story of hope, small, flickering, but real. Yet the pain was everywhere. On the war-torn world of Exara, families fled their burning homes. A father remembered the human medics who once saved his son, and as he searched for shelter, he promised himself he would help the next stranger he saw. On the rich planet of Polna, leaders met in secret to talk about unity. Maybe, one said, we have to become the humans now. Maybe that's the only way forward. As the council crumbled, some leaders tried to reach out. They sent peace offerings, supplies, even apologies to old enemies. Some of these gestures were accepted. Others were not. Centuries of mistrust did not disappear overnight. In the darkness of space, rumors grew. Some said they saw human ships at the edge of known space watching, waiting, judging. Others claimed the humans had found a new galaxy, one where peace was possible. But no proof ever came. One night, as Shral sat alone in the council chamber, a message appeared on the central screen. The room filled with a soft blue light. The message was short, the voice unrecognizable but kind. You are the future now. What you choose, you become. No one knew who sent the message, or if it was really from the humans. But it spread like wildfire across the stars. It gave the galaxy one more chance, one last hope. Slowly, something began to change. The pain of loss became a lesson. The worst chaos gave way to new beginnings. Old enemies started to talk. Neighbors started to help. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. And all across the galaxy, people looked to the stars and wondered, would the humans ever return? Or was it up to them now to become better, kinder, and wiser, just as the humans had once been? The future was still uncertain, but the galaxy was changing. Maybe, just maybe, the lesson was finally being learned. Asterisk. The awakening the galaxy was never truly silent, but now a new kind of quiet settled over its worlds. It was not the cold emptiness that had come when the humans left. This was a silence of waiting, a sense that something important was about to happen. On every planet, people talked about the same things. Stories of human kindness were shared in busy markets, in small homes, around campfires under alien skies. Some told how humans had risked everything to save strangers. Others remembered the way a simple human song could unite a whole room, no matter how different the people were. For the first time in ages, worlds began to feel connected by more than just politics or trade. They were connected by a memory, lesson that would not let them rest. Shral stood in the council chamber, looking at the empty human seats. He ran his hand over the smooth table, remembering the laughter and warmth that used to fill the room. Now the chamber was different. The shouting had faded. Delegates met in smaller groups, talking softly, trying to solve real problems instead of just arguing. It was slow, but it was honest. Vanish watched from his office, sending messages of peace and hope to planets that once saw each other as enemies. His voice was older now, his eyes a little tired, but he felt something changing. He saw the smallest acts and old rivals sharing food, a young leader forgiving a mistake, a team of scientists from different worlds fixing a broken ship together. Every act, no matter how small, reminded him of the way humans lived. One morning, as the pale sun rose over the council city, something extraordinary happened. The main screen in the chamber flickered to life without warning. Every screen on every planet, every station, every starship showed the same message. The words appeared slowly, shining like silver on black. You have learned. Now you must choose. Will you build together or wait for someone else to save you? A million voices cried out in surprise. Was it the humans? Was it a trick? No one knew, but the message was clear. All over the galaxy, people paused. They remembered the pain and chaos that had come when the humans left. They remembered the hope that followed when they began to help each other. Shroud felt his heart beat faster. He stood and spoke, his voice ringing out across the chamber and through the open windows into the city below. We cannot change the past, he said, but we can change the future. The humans showed us what was possible. Now it's our turn. We must build trust again, not just in this chamber, but across every world. We must be what they hoped we could become. Varish stood beside him. Others joined, one by one, until the chamber was filled not with empty seats, but with hope on distant planets. Children learned to say, "Thank you," in new languages. In broken cities, enemies became neighbors. Across the stars, ships with different flags started to fly together, sharing knowledge and food. The change was not fast, and it was never perfect, but every day brought a little more light. But the question lingered. Where were the humans? On the edge of known space, a small scout ship traveled past an old human beacon. Its lights blinked softly, almost like a heartbeat. Inside, a recording played in many languages. We believe in you. When you are ready, we will find each other. Again, no one knew how old the message was. Some said the humans were watching, waiting for the right time to return. Others believed the humans had moved on, giving the galaxy a gift more precious than technology, a reason to hope, and a lesson in unity. On a quiet night, as Troll walked home under a sky full of stars, he heard music drifting from a window. It was an old human song, simple and bright. He stopped, closed his eyes, and listened. He could almost imagine the humans were still there, just out of sight, smiling at what the galaxy was becoming. Maybe, one day, they would come back. Or maybe the galaxy no longer needed them, not because it had forgotten, but because it had finally learned. And so, under the endless sky, the galaxy awakened, not to the sound of war or fear, but to the promise of a new beginning. Asterisk.